Hi, Kyla.
Hey, Sally. How are you?
Good, how are you?
So another woman that I met at the Dream Center is Kyla. She is a force to be reckoned with.
So you want us to meet you at the Dream Center at 2?
We're going to have to push back the time just a little bit because I have a rescue.
Today I got a phone call from a young girl who has been in the life for quite a few years. A pimp took her when she was 12 or 13 years old and turned her out. So essentially here in the US, that is what we know as trafficking.
You have a rescue? Whoa, okay.
Today she calls in a panic. She's been trying to get away from this guy for a couple of days. She literally had this knife on her and called and said, I can't get him to stop beating me, I'm about to cut him. And so we called law enforcement and then we were able to get her safely into our vehicle and away from the situation and to a safe place.
My name is Sergeant Brian Gallagher. This is the LAPD's Operations South Bureau Human Trafficking Task Force. I have Officer Kimberly Felix, Officer Rosanna Lou Legend, Officer Vanessa Rios, and Officer Andrew Gonzalez. There's 4 of them and myself, and we are the unit. Our primary responsibility is to combat human trafficking, specifically of minors.
We want to see these girls get out of this life. We want to see these girls get help.
What Kyla does is like phenomenal, because what she does is she actually goes and starts just giving business cards, builds this relationship with these girls. Without Kyla, I don't know what we would do.
I knew it was so important for me to see some of the things that she experiences. So we went on a drive along and it was an incredible and eye-opening experience.
We've talked about doing this for some time, and I'm sure that I will walk away changed no matter what. In that way, I'm really interested to see what happens.
We do go out onto the streets where pimps have put their girls out on what they call a track. We find out what those areas are and we try to go when they're heavily populated so we can connect with as many girls as possible. We connect with an average of 100 girls a week.
People think it doesn't happen here, right? They think it happens only internationally, it happens in this country or that country, but not here. It's happening right here, and it's happening to kids who are born and raised right here.
It's fast becoming the second most profitable crime in the United States.
These girls have come from a background where they just have, at 5 years old, some of them have been sold by their parents. Some of them have been sexually abused.
In America, parents are selling their
kids.
kids.
Here in your backyards.
The craziest track that I'd ever seen where there were girls out in like lingerie was literally 2 miles from where I was living. In the daytime, it was just this family-friendly area.
I was shocked to see how close to my neighborhood all of this was shaking down.
So who are these girls? How do they get to this point?
They all have some sort of vulnerability.
It sounds really cliche, but they're throwaway kids.
And that's what they refer them as.
They're throwaway kids. They've been raised in the foster system. No one's ever cared for them. Now they're 14, 15 years old. Some pimp comes along and, hey, I'm gonna dress you and I'm gonna get your nails done and get your hair looking good. And she goes, wow, he really cares about it. No one's ever done this for me.
I would venture to say that if you would approach one of those women, they would love to have a better life other than what they're doing. But I don't know if they feel anybody cares.
A majority of them have had some type of incest, usually, or just some type of sexual abuse from someone. And they don't know that they can say no to people, and they end up being manipulated into this situation.
It doesn't start like a pimp relationship. You know, you hear the story. Where did this start? Well, he told, it was a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship. They tell them how beautiful they are, something that they probably never heard in their life.
These pimps are looking for these young girls who are vulnerable, who might have low self-esteem.
They tell them that they love them. And this girl's like they're completely brainwashed.
A pimp from the Valley had gone to North Carolina and he had another girl befriend her. She told her she was getting ready to celebrate her 21st birthday, and the girl was like, oh, I'm actually from Los Angeles. You should come out and celebrate there. We could have a real party. This girl introduced the victim to a guy friend, and they started talking and connecting, and bought her a bus ticket, picked her up from the bus station, and then took her to a dumpy motel, and he raped her and turned her out. And she's been stuck with them for the last probably 8 days. When the pimp got frustrated that she wasn't following his instructions, he took a knife and he lit it on fire and he cut her and burned her with it. The only way this 21-year-old could get away from that pimp was to jump out of a moving car. So what we've been doing for the last couple of days is take care of her wounds.
One of the things that sort of enables human trafficking to still exist is because most of us assume it doesn't exist. Society assumes that something as egregious as human trafficking probably ended a long time ago, when it's happening 5 minutes from here.
There's girls on both sides here.
It's very strange because you think, how is this happening? Why isn't anybody doing anything? Like, why don't the cops just pull them off the streets?
The reason why we can't just take a girl off the street, like, hey, get in with us, we're gonna save you, is because they don't know that they need to be saved. They don't necessarily know that they're a victim.
It's a culture. It's the way they talk, and the way they live.
The pimp, part of the game is that he makes her feel like she's part of this business. And so for a while, they feel like they're a part of a family or a team. And abuse is just normal to them because they've never known any different.
It's a life that none of us will ever understand.
Most people don't have an understanding that what's always been seen as just prostitution is and has always been slavery here in the U.S. And we're just now becoming aware of that.
You've always just passed them by and said, that's a prostitute there. No, that's a kid.
That's a child. It's like there's a girl right here on our left. They're mentally bound. When I see these girls, I don't so much see them as being in physical chains, but there's a chain around their brain that entraps them and enslaves them to their abuser.
99.9% of them are out there because someone's forcing them to be.
Still to this day, in so many states across the country, these girls are seen as criminals. They're not regarded as victims.
We had to be very mindful of the pimps in the area because they were keeping a very close eye on the girls.
And we even had like a couple pimps, like not come to the car, but say, come here, like that kind of stuff. And that's where I kind of got nervous.
What's hard is when they disappear.
Yeah.
Like there are so many girls, I'm like, where did she go?
Yeah.
And then you hear the horror stories, like what doesn't make the news, especially here, is all of the girls who disappear and how many bodies are found. We literally saw a girl a few weeks ago on the street and her hands were bound, like just tied up with so much duct tape, and she was sobbing and had bruises all over her face from a John who had just raped her. One girl was found in a dumpster over here with her breast cut off.
Oh my God.
Was that on the news? Nope.
No.
Exactly.
Because no one cares because she was just a prostitute. We've had 140 rescues through our emergency shelter in the last year and a half. Like we're an all women staff, all females. And so it's really, really important for these girls to be able to meet and see and have really strong women in their life to be able to hold their hands and help them through the recovery process. Sometimes I wish they could be a fly on the wall with us to know how much we care about them.
And are you seeing improvements?
Yeah, I've seen incredible improvement over the last 2 years. Last year we saw 4 convictions. There's 2 street corners that are empty now. And those girls are doing so awesome. And to pass by there and see that they don't have to be out there working anymore, to me makes all of the drama and all of the struggles and trying to help them earn and believe that they really are valuable and that they really are worth something, it makes it all worth it.
To be honest, I'm a little numb right now. I feel like I'm just letting it all sink in because I have to say, there are very few people who probably had a window to the world that I just saw. Seeing Kyla's work and knowing what she does, my takeaway is, whoa, we need more Kylas. There are amazing women doing these monumental things.